Today's MTR Network offering is brought to you by Daniel Palmer, OnQ.com. Are you still renting? What are you waiting for? OnQ Financial can make it faster and easier to get you out of that apartment and into a new house. Best of all, you may not need perfect credit or much money out of your pocket. That's right, you can get into a new house for low money down. You couldn't move into an apartment that cheap. You would need first month's rent, last month's rent, and a security deposit just to have the chance to make your landlord rich. Wouldn't you rather invest in yourself and your future? At OnQ Financial, our goal is to go above and beyond to assist in structuring a loan program at a competitive rate with a smooth and seamless experience to help you reach your dream of homeownership. Visit DanielPalmerOnQ.com and find out how to get on the right track to get out of that apartment and into the home your family deserves. Find out how easy it can be by going to the website, filling out a few short forms, and telling us exactly what you want that new house payment to be, and we'll do everything we can to make the dream of homeownership a reality. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So find out how to get to yes at DanielPalmerOnQ.com. This is not an offer for extension of credit or commitment to lend. Some restrictions may apply. OnQ Financial, Inc. is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 5645, license GA 22050. Welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I am your host, DPalm. Follow me on Twitter at DPalm66. Follow the show on Twitter at UDPod. Follow the entire MTR Network at the MTR Network. You found us. Don't lose us. Subscribe in the iTunes Store. Subscribe on Spotify. Subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts. And make sure you leave that 5-star review over on iTunes. I will read it on the air for all 5-star content, even things that mock me and my teams, which you guys are pretty good about that. I found pretty good sniping, I'm not going to lie. Kind of appreciate it on some artistic level, if not emotional. Normally there's a big preamble. I actually scrapped our first intro because I lost a list of things I wanted to talk about the MTR Network. But you guys know what we offer. You know what's there. If you found me, by God, you found us. So I'm going to get right to it. Our guest today is homie Mike, one of my best friends in the world. He talks NBA with me all the time. He did our pick'em for NBA's over-unders again this year. And again, I think I might be not winning. How's it going, Mike?
Good. Thanks for having me back again.
Don't thank me yet. So I say that to say this. I email the show notes on Wednesday, and that's when I give everyone kind of the rundown of what I think we're going to do. This week's weird because Wednesday, a lot happened after Wednesday. Even doing our pre-show, I was talking through things. I was like, oh shit, the Kaepernick thing. I was like, oh yeah, that too. And then, oh, AD got hurt. We got to talk about it. So a lot of the stuff I described to you that we're going to talk about, we're probably not going to talk about. Okay.
All right, hit me. All
right, so let's start off with this because it's been a wrinkle in, I think, both of our lives for long enough. I think as we became adults and we prioritize differently, it's become easier. But this All-Star Game Valentine's Day thing has been a scourge. I'll be honest, when I was in college on Valentine weekend, I would ask to work at the bar I'd work at so I could have an excuse to watch basketball.
That's one way to get out of it.
I'll make some money. No one else wants to work that weekend. It'll be a little extra money. Probably get tipped out well. And my real reasoning was I can watch the dunk contest in peace.
It's a valid excuse. I think we got off easy this year since we had a Valentine's Day on a Thursday. Stay clear of All-Star Weekend. Actually got to watch some stuff Saturday night.
And Saturday night was fun. We're going to talk about it later. And everyone says, oh, X is no longer fun or X is no longer. The dunk contest was fun. The skills competition was actually pretty fun. Trae Young beat Luka. We won the trade. And I'll be damned if the three-point contest hasn't gotten downright compelling.
I agree with you. It was better than I thought it would be.
There's only one way to shoot a three-pointer, and somehow I couldn't stop watching. It was kind of impressive on their end. Let's talk about some quick story updates before we get to anything else. We've talked a lot about Papa John and his losing the naming rights over at Louisville and being outed as on the board. Well, he was spotted this week behind the bench at a Kentucky game wearing a UK pullover.
How? Really? Come on.
We know it's a long and noted tradition of public assholes being Kentucky fans. Hi, Drake. And is this does he think that this is a bigger deal? The fact that I had to dig for this story, I found it because literally someone emailed it to me. I don't feel like I feel like he thought that this is going to be a big moment, and it's not. It's just kind of another weird thing Papa John's done. Papa John. I don't know why I pluralize him.
Does he realize he's just a joke now? I mean, maybe he's embracing the heel turn. I don't know.
It's so funny because if you look at the seat where he is, he's directly behind the UK bench. That you can't, it's a seat you don't get without knowing someone to call and having a lot of money. And so I think this is like his defiant, like I'm coming back to the world. But isn't this just further proof that there's nothing in the world a rich man can't do?
Oh, 100%. I mean, he should have been gone. He lost his company, right? No
He
relevancy.
did lose his company.
He has no relevancy.
The one that still has his name
What
on
does he
it.
do for anyone at this point? Nothing.
Oh man! Another story update I wanted to cover: Naomi Osaka, fresh off winning 2 Grand Slam events this year, 21-year-old tennis star. She is parting with her coach. A coach whose name I'm not going to pronounce. His first name is Sasha, last name Bajin, maybe. If I screwed that up, I apologize. Yeah, she's splitting with him after 2 consecutive Grand Slam wins and just after she won the Australian Open. And it wasn't like a press release. It wasn't like a press conference. It wasn't an interview. It was this Twitter message. Hey, everyone, I will no longer be working with Sasha. I thank him for his work and wish him all the best in the future.
I'm not really, this happens in tennis. Kerber won Wimbledon, and then like a little bit after that, she switched coaches. Halep was number 1 for most of 2018, but she came to Australian Open without a coach. Sloane Stephens switched coaches after winning a major. It happens.
The thing is, that's one of the things that I actually learned like doing my very, very light level research. I don't want to paint a picture of myself. But you're right. It seems like this is something that happens. A lot of people cycle in and out, and it's also very incestuous. Like Sasha was originally Serena's hitting partner from 2007 to 2015. And what's weird here is that normally you see these things and it's like, oh, and then I'd like to announce a partnership with so-and-so, or the next move will be this. This was weird because, neither one seemed to have a next move. And 2, it's not like things were going poorly.
Well, he'll get a job soon enough. As you said, it's incestuous. Someone else will pick him up. I don't know. From what I read, it seemed like she just wasn't happy with him and like was putting the team, or like her team's happiness, as a priority, and seemed like she was just trying to, excise him from that and make things better.
Yeah, I love your balanced approach to this, and that's a lot of fun. It's even more fun? Tennis website rumor mills. And if you really want to just drum up like a lot of ridiculous feelings about things that don't matter on a President's Day you're not at work, go ahead and do me a favor and just Google why did this split happen, and just welcome to the deep dive of the deep dark rumor tennis web. I didn't know it existed, but now I do. It's something I can never forget. Yeah, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's really something else. It's it's really it's a lot. I'm gonna skip that one. Like I said, a lot of stuff happened this week. Let's talk about the MLB, Major League Baseball. I don't want to say the favorite punching bag of the show, but it does seem to get hit a lot. And now we've headed into spring training. It's where pitchers and catchers start reporting, and everyone starts getting ready for the year, and teams say they're doing their best to win for their fans and their franchise. And the things that are happening right now make you ask, wait, maybe not really. Because as we sit here at the cusp of spring training, both Manny Machado and Bryce Harper don't have teams to play baseball for. And as was pointed out by Justin Verlander this week, if you're planning on starting a team that wants to, let's say you want to rebuild, let's say you want to start from the ground up, starting with those 2 pieces wouldn't be bad places to start.
No, not at all. I mean, they'll land somewhere, but I don't know what is taking so long.
What's taking so long is that, excuse me, the system's broken. And the owners are claiming that, we're trying to restructure the way that, no, you're not. You're trying to save money, because I think it's something to the tune of almost half the teams were over $30 million from the luxury tax ceiling last year, which means the teams that say, we're trying to win. What you're trying to do is win as cheaply as possible.
Oh.
The luxury tax is there. It's not saying, this is as much as you could possibly spend. It's saying, maybe there's a reason why the NFL in this last bargaining agreement had the salary floor added to the CBA, which means there's a minimum that teams have to spend on that year's roster. And if you don't hit it, the overages roll over the next year's roster, and that number goes up. Unless you're a real big CBA nerd like your boy, You don't see it happen, but guess what? You wouldn't be shocked to know that the Bengals have made the list 3 years in a row. The cheapest organization in sports. But let's talk about baseball, because this is a claim that you heard from the owners for a while now, that the players are quote unquote overpaid, that they're creating untenable situations for management. And let's say, to pretend for whatever reason that you accepted that line of horseshit. Part of it is the fact that baseball sells itself as a game of history. It says itself as, oh, look at the history of the Cubs, not look at these fucking Cubs that we got right now. And baseball thinks that their history is what sells the game, but when in reality, your stars should and could. Maybe. I don't know. I couldn't figure in a baseball star out of a lineup. I assume they have personalities. Although baseball guys, you know what? That's a whole other conversation.
MLB lets them.
Well, that's a whole other situation. But I think it's interesting because in this atmosphere where I'm being told that the baseball is just losing the money and that no one can find a way to make a dime in this environment, that's why they've got this anti-player rhetoric saying that they're overpaid and whatnot. The Cubs announced a partnership with Sinclair Broadcasting. Sinclair Broadcasting, who you may know from watching John Oliver one night, is a overlarge conglomerate of media corporations that basically shovel right-wing news to the world. Well, the Cubs, who have been for a long time synonymous with WGN, are now moving to what's going to be called the Marquee Sports Network, a cable, super regional, super network, sports network. It's something you've seen happen, obviously, with MSG and NESN, but it's been happening all over the country as well. And Mike, is this the behavior of someone who you describe as broke?
Nope, not at all. Not even close. You know,
you may also know the Cubs family, family that owns the Cubs, the Ricketts, recently were in the headlines because Joe Ricketts, the billionaire father of the family, had a bunch of his racist emails and forwards outed to the media last week. Now, these aren't the typical, like, oh, occasional meme or look at this. It's actually like him writing in all caps about how Islam is trying to destroy America.
Well,
so, of course, Sinclair seems like the good place to land, though. I mean, that's if you're going to go somewhere.
Now it all makes
sense. That's where you go. That's where you need to land. We're going to skip the next few stories, and next we're going to go to a place I didn't tell you we're going. We're going to golf.
Oh, okay.
So Matt Kuchar is a golfer. Matt Kuchar had to play a tournament in Mexico in November with a fill-in caddy. You know the story?
Didn't have to. He just I guess I'll play this tournament.
He opted into this tournament. He played with a fill-in caddy named David Ortiz.
Yep.
He won the fucking tournament.
1.3 million.
Which is pretty good deal. Like, hey, you walked in, you didn't mean to play, you got a standing caddy. To walk here with $1.3 million is a pretty good day, weekend at the office. Now, for those of you who don't know things about golf like me, caddies are generally given 10% of a golfer's winnings in the tournament, which would have given David Ortiz, a fill-in caddy, $130,000.
A significant amount of money.
A pretty life-changing amount of money when, I'm not speaking up or down anyone, but you're a caddy. Instead, Kuchar gave him $5,000. Ortiz was later informed about the, I don't know, would you say, usual fare for such a job, and wrote a letter to Kuchar, which, by the way, if I write you a letter, assume it's a death threat. Anything in the letter, there are conditions, assume that if I've taken the time to put pen to paper to write this, and then to find a stamp, and then to mail it to you, and then to wait and not once call you, like, did you get the letter yet? If I've taken all this time, assume what I'm asking you is a not so thinly veiled threat. David Ortiz wrote this letter saying, hey, man, I know what it would have been, $5,000. I would love if you could break me off like $50,000. Like I think that's a way we could both feel not disrespected and move forward with this and by the way, I think that's pretty fucking reasonable.
Yeah, not $130,000, $50,000.
$50,000 is the number you pay so that no one feels like they got screwed.
Right.
It was little. If he said 50 and Kuchar was like, all right, here, here's 75. That's how this story should have ended.
Right. Still less than the $130,000 he should have paid, but he come off looking good.
However, Kuchar declined, and when the controversy was made public, He pointed out that Ortiz doesn't make much for a living, so he should be really happy with $5,000. And now I'm quoting this dickhead. For a guy who makes $200 a day, a $5,000 week is a really big week. I try to look at the bright side of everything, Kuchar said. I hope he's happy. I hope things are really good in his life. I have to think if he was given the same opportunity to do it again, he'd say, yeah, he has a nice personality. He's easy to be with. The photo of the two of us with the trophy, that will always be on the wall of my office.
I'm glad that's a consolation.
Like, wow.
On the office wall.
What a great quote. Of course, he took a beating in the media from, everyone in the world who heard about this stupid-ass golf story. And, of course, he ends up relenting and saying he apologized for the controversy and said that he'll be making him whole by paying the remainder of the $50,000, which means he's now doing, one, the bare minimum that this man asked for after being prodded and publicly put in stocks, and two, he's only going to pay him $45,000. That's what that means. The remainder of the $50,000 means he's only going to cut you a $45,000 check. And, he's probably going to take some out for shipping and postage for the check. This guy's a dickhead.
Yeah, completely. His first statement was, pretty typical, just be grateful. All right, cool. And he's still $50,000. Personally, I'm mad he's not paying $125. Give him 10%. This dude's made 40-something million dollars in earnings in his career. He won 1.3 in this tournament. Just give him $130,000. It's not that big a deal for him. It's significant for the caddy, and it's, standard practice. Come on.
All right. I'm going somewhere else. I didn't tell you where we're going. We're going to the world of recruiting in college football. And everyone knows I don't give a shit about recruiting. I think that their services are all – it's impossible to evaluate every high school football player in this country. And this is a story about why. So, on Wednesday, an offensive tackle from Grace Christian High School in Knoxville, Tennessee named Blake Carriger showed up as a 3-star prospect on Rivals.com, listed at 6'3", 315, with scholarship offers from Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. There's only one huge fucking problem, Mike. Blake Carriger doesn't exist. They made him up. His name showed up on Rivals.com and in the Knoxville News Sentinel, and because his name was on Rivals, he was automatically listed in the 24/7 Sports Composite Rankings, which aggregates average rankings from its own site as well as Rivals and ESPN.
I don't know Rivals standards for getting people on, but surely a newspaper fact checks or does the bare minimum to make
Knoxville
sure.
News Sentinel's Prep Extra Twitter account listed Carriger as one of the top 10 recruits to watch in 2020 and added the Twitter account.
I have so many questions. Who made this person up?
No one knows yet.
How does a school give offers?
They did.
Literally, how did a school give an offer to a fake person?
They didn't. Those were lies. That's the point.
Okay.
You can say anything. That's the point. You can say anything on these sites, and they're just become a huge sales gig. So something it's always fun to watch is just pick a player who's a 3-star. Probably won't sign too early, but will probably be around and make a decent splash for someone's team on signing day. Watch him from, let's call it May, until, call it signing day next February. That player's 3-star ranking will change depending upon how many players above him sign early, because they want signing day to be impressive. So if a bunch of 4 and 5 sign early, guess what's going to happen? That 3-star becomes a 4-star.
Wait, it's relative? That doesn't even make any sense.
It's not relative, but it is a service, but it's by and large entertainment for fans because they have to have splashes. So if signing day is a bunch of 3-stars, it's not as flashy as if 4s and 5s get thrown around.
So it's a whole star thing, fan service? Do teams?
The star it's an alleged evaluation of this kid's talent. But again, I go back to the central point in this. There is no way humanly possible to evaluate all the high school talent in this country. That's why they rely on aggregators and these services and sites. And this is also why it's easy to game these services and sites. What I'm saying is be excited about your team having a signing day. I certainly am. They got the top 2 players from Alabama and the top player from Georgia to go to Georgia and play in Athens. Go Dogs. Right. However, I only know that because I was reading art stuff for this article. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters until Saturdays. So maybe be excited. Yeah, to find a way to give them more, to get inspired, to give them more of your money in the off season, or Just wait and see what's going to happen on Saturdays. I know there are guys who make a living behind recruiting. They're friends of mine. And those guys who take it seriously and do the work are great, and they are informative and important. But Blake Carriger is a fucking warning shot. Everyone be careful. You don't know what you got. And this goes back to why I avoid recruiting. Let's go to the NFL now. Oh, Mike. So I think on this podcast, I've made my feelings on Eli Manning very well known. I've also made my I think I have. I've also made my feelings on Saquon Barkley. I think he's got a high ceiling, very, very low floor, and you see the bursts of greatness followed by lots of mediocrity in between. The Giants apparently have announced that they've seen enough this past season in the second half to roll it back one more time with Eli Manning, which means they're going to burn another season of Saquon Barkley's rookie deal, another season of Odell Beckham in his prime, so that Eli gets a farewell tour for his largely mediocre career and 2 miracle Super Bowls. Did you know the only playoff games he won are the years he won Super Bowls?
Really? Ugh.
Yes. And I say he's won because he's not going to win anymore. I don't care how much longer this takes.
But that's why they're bringing him back.
They are bringing him back, but they ain't making the fucking playoffs. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert, guys. The Giants not making the playoffs next year or the year after that or any other year they keep trotting out Eli Manning under center. It's over. Stop trying to make Eli happen. Speaking of stupid quarterbacks with ties to the Manning family, John Elway traded for Joe fucking Flacco.
Yeah, he did.
It allowed the Ravens to free up $10.5 million in cap space. Mike, Flacco, Elway, we know Elway's bad at this. Like Brock Osweiler, whatever's currently under center for them right now, we know Case Keenum, I think it is. We know it's been bad. He's not a good talent evaluator. And everyone says, oh, he brought in Peyton. Congratulations. He brought in one of the best quarterbacks of all time to shepherd a world-class team and not screw it up. Meanwhile, you forget that most of those games that Super Bowl season weren't won by Peyton Manning. He was too hurt because his Lego neck broke. Anyway, John Elway is bringing in Joe Flacco, and this is on the heels of firing Vance Joseph, who got 2 seasons and was sent to the door. When do they fire Elway? Because at some point, someone's got to ask the question: wait, why do we keep letting him make decisions about quarterbacks?
Because he's a Denver legend. They're going to keep him well past the point that he should have been fired. They'll keep him at least 3
Congratulations.
years. Are you there? Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You know what's fun for me? When Elway retired, they asked him if they offered to give him, I think it's 3% of the team. He said, no, I'm going to go do my own thing. He tried to be a broadcaster, tried to own a sports dealership. Then he came back to be a GM and get the salary.
I mean,
every payday, he just got to be fucking fuming.
No, he deserves it. That should tell you everything.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. He deserves it. But, yeah. Staying in the NFL. So, Mike, you've been on teams. You've played sports. You know how important chemistry can be. The Jets are doing something right now with their coaching staff that's going to not work. Some people say, oh, it could either work or no. There's no either here. This is not going to work. Adam Gase, who you may know from his press conference where he didn't blink, he made comments where he said things like, we sacrifice statistics to get wins from Miami, which is a lot of other questions you should be asking. So he actually added for his new defensive coordinator, Greg Williams. And if you know the name Greg Williams, good. That means you're paying attention last year when he interim coached the Browns to have actually, not an unsubstantially better showing they probably deserved. They didn't want to bring him on as head coach. And you may say yourself, why, man? Greg Williams was possibly one of the strongest people. He held the things together for them. Well, Greg Williams is actually the center of Bountygate. He was suspended for a year because of his role in putting bounties on players. And that's not great. So it's hard to make him a head coach. And now he's going to be coaching in New York with the Jets. He's also bringing in his son, Blake, Um, he's another coach's kid who only seems to work for places where his dad also works. And, that's interesting because they tried to bring him in for position coach and they had to argue him down. They didn't want to hire him in the first place. So now he's like a defensive assistant. It's very funny. So now you got a disgruntled father and son who had to fight to get the son a paid job at the place where they work, already not happy. They're also bringing in outside linebacker coach and senior defensive assistant Joe Vitt. Joe Vitt, while being Adam Gase's father-in-law, was also on the staff of the Bounty Gate Saints. And Vitt's sentence was reduced to only 6 games, not the year that Williams got, because reportedly he testified against Greg Williams.
I feel like I need that Charlie Day board with the string and the pins.
Greg Williams is the defensive coordinator, okay? Someone who is one of his subordinates is the father-in-law of the head coach and someone who turned witness against him in the case of Bountygate. Also on staff is Greg's completely reasonably, and over-the-top loyalist son who only has a job in the NFL because his dad's name is Greg with 3 G's.
Who made these decisions?
Adam Gase hired his own staff. He's like, you know what? I believe conflict breeds results, and this is what I'm going to do. He sounds like every idiot ever. This is such a bad idea, but it's so perfect because the Jets live to be on page 6. They live to win in the tabloids. And by God, when there's a fist fight on the sideline of week 1 between coaches, you're gonna have headlines.
It's gonna implode very quickly.
Implode?
How do they even get through preseason? I mean, this is
a lit fuse. This is an implosion. This is an inevitability. And I am, for one, here for it. Antonio Brown this week went on his Twitter and said, "It's been real, Pittsburgh. I'm out of here." And that's not how trades work. I don't know what he thought he was doing, but so the Steelers have been talking about trading him in the offseason, but this is the first time it looks like Antonio Brown publicly was on board with their ideas. If that's what he's saying, then fine. If he's saying, "I'm out of here, thanks for the memories," hashtag new demands, which was the hashtag he used, which makes no sense to me. Yeah, you got to say, maybe he thinks he's gone, or maybe he thinks that they have to trade him. They don't. But what I think is weird is that, and I've talked to you about this, a lot of fans turn into real communists.
Oh, yeah.
When it's, players and teams. And if you ask him, do you care about the players or do you care about the teams? Do you care about the coaching staff? Do you care about the team? You'd say, of course I care about the players. The players who I cheer for on Sundays. But then you watch things like this where Antonio Brown's being vilified for, it looks like, not wanting to be blamed for the downfalls of the offense, which makes perfect sense when he's been their leading receiver, led the NFL in touchdowns this year, and notably didn't even play the last week. I'd have questions about that too. He doesn't like being a scapegoat. That seems like a reasonable problem. But the way it's been spun is, look at this selfish me-first player. Well, we've got 2 years in a row now of consistent data points of disgruntled, super talented player who does not want to be in Pittsburgh anymore. And Le'Veon Bell we were told he was selfish, he was greedy, and that he didn't want to be there. One of those things is true. He doesn't want to be there. Remarkably, Antonio Brown, we're told the exact same fucking things, and it seems like he may be a little selfish. He's a receiver, but you have to be. But for sure, he doesn't want to be there anymore. And what's going to be really interesting is how almost no one, I think we're getting a few fringe voices now, but no one's really being like, hey, what's going on in Pittsburgh? Why do all these really talented players really want to leave? Obviously, and because the media is in bed with the owners, you get the stories where they say Bell, who's insanely talented, but also has audio problems, and starts listing those out without lists. It's so weird and so open colluding. We'll get to that later too. On how they do this, it's just gross.
Well, there's a script for these things, and they follow it to a T. That's why the way they talk about Brown sounds exactly like the way they talked about Bell. I mean, it's not that these players are doing the same thing. It's just, they know what sells to, the public, and they just do that.
But it's so interesting because it shouldn't sell to the public. Because if I went to the public and say, hey, man, you're going to be underpaid and underappreciate your job, and you're going to know that you deserve better because you outperform everyone at your pay scale. How do you feel? Well, I feel taken advantage of. Cool. What do you have leverage in that you could publicly make statements that would force your employer's hand? I would do anything to get what I felt like I deserved. Great. What's wrong with Antonio Brown? Did he ain't doing my damn Steelers? Like, what is the?
Yeah, sports
And I
just
know it's just like large scale cognitive dissonance, and I should be completely familiar with that in this country in 2019. But it's just something so wild to watch it happen with people who will tell you how much they love these players, and then turn around and show you how much they hate them.
well, yeah, I mean, you see this dissonance in sports, across sports, in the pros with all the salaries and, the amateurism and, college level, they don't care about the players. They care about their, as far as they get the teams to where they want to be and they're happy with their fandom or whatever. Anything that like jeopardizes that in their eyes, too much. How dare they try to make a living?
So something that's always fun is that you and I talk. We end up learning things about the world, and you found out today that Tennessee's the #1 basketball team in the country in men's. And we're not talking about college basketball.
Still not convinced that's true.
We're not talking about college basketball. I promise. We are going to talk about someone who matters to me in college basketball, and that's Zion Williamson. And you tried to naysay this, but this week that man dinked a basketball on the court.
Look, of all the things Zion has done this season,
or you try to let the air out of this, you joyless bastard. Is it not? Did that not happen?
Sure, it happened.
Okay. Give me your MythBusters fucking take on this. Ruin this for me.
Oh no, I'm not gonna bust a myth. I just don't care. I care about is him jumping from damn near the paint to block a 3-pointer that wasn't just coming out of the guy's hand. I mean, that's impressive. Sending the ball, cool, whatever. Enjoy it.
It's 2019. It's February, and that him getting the basketball is the only way that this sport makes the show. I want you to know that.
Look, it's been a rough month, okay? So I'll take what I can get. I understand. But, on the scale of Zion amazingness, this is like a 5.
Well, as the Zion stakes heat up, especially here in Atlanta, fingers crossed. Do you know that the Knicks are something like, I think they're like 8 and a bunch against the league, but they're 3-1 against the Hawks, because we know what we're doing. So the Knicks also tanking for Zion. They decided, or Kevin Knox, who's a forward for the Knicks, said that on fans who are rooting for taking, they're not really true New Yorkers. I want to stop here before I go too far into this. Kevin Knox is 19 years old and from Tampa. Kevin Knox said to the New York Post, a lot of fans, they always say dumb stuff. You see it all the time with the tanking and wanting us to lose, stuff like that. It's real stupid. They're not really true New Yorkers. Real Knicks fans know that we're trying to just take this year to develop us young guys, and then next year hopefully make a push. Kevin Knox, whose name literally translates in player to be named later or included in a package. So I don't know why he's convinced himself that he's here for the long haul in New York, but maybe he is. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'd like to believe that if a package comes available for the #1 pick to get Zion Williamson, Kevin Knox will be included. He will not be deemed untouchable.
Oh, no, of course not. Since probably most people first heard about Kevin Knox when Kevin Knox made the statement.
In his defense, he yammed on somebody the night I wrote this in the notes.
Yeah.
I was like,
he really did.
All right, Kevin. I'm gonna make fun of you once. You got me with the second one. I had 2 jokes, but just give you the one. You just get the one this week. It was nice. It was good for him. So you and I have talked about this via text. Also, shout out Shawnee. Kevin Durant. What are we doing?
Kevin Durant's being Kevin Durant.
I covered this last week where Kevin Durant got mad at the media for questioning him about not talking about the Knicks after they traded away Porzingis, and then he got mad at them for doing media things, which, okay, fine, whatever. This week, we saw the beginnings of – there's an ESPN Plus Kevin Durant show about Kevin Durant's brand, and it's called Kevin Durant, The Making of a Mogul. I need you to make me not hate him, because this is all pretty fucking hateable.
How long has that show been on? Has he been trying to become a mogul for like 6 years?
A great brand is a lot like a great jump shot. These are quotes from the show. The best ones
Wait,
appear effortless. I'm
I'm
not done.
sorry.
The best ones appear effortless, and yet underneath the surface, years of sweat, grind, and refinement have gone into it. What the fuck is happening?
If he knows what it takes, why isn't he doing it? He is so far away from a mogul. I mean, does he even have a business or the beginning?
I'm not. I promised I wouldn't go too deep into this because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. But there's an article on ESPN or on that's been talking where they kind of did some excerpts from it. That's where I got the quote from. Please read it. Just I'll include it in the show notes, but please read it. Kevin. And these rumors that he's going to New York next year, and everyone's basically knows he's going to New York next year. That's interesting too because in the history of my being alive, they landed 0 free agents in New York that they actually wanted to land. So we'll see if that works out for them. Hope is not a plan, New Yorkers.
Also, he's been in markets where the media is not New York media.
Yeah.
You think he's ready for that?
No. Kevin's going to have extra phones for all the Twitter accounts. Like he's going to have to need separate phones. Each phone gets 5. I think that's going to be the rule. And it's this whole thing, this whole Kevin Durant thing, and the fact that this is the same week where LeBron and Rich Paul try to get accused of recruiting people by going to Virginia Duke. Yeah, of course they wanted to go see Zion. It probably wasn't some level of recruitment tool, but players and agents have been doing that for years. Years. Shaq used to go to LeBron's games. AI used to go to LeBron's games.
Yeah, what LeBron said about it is spot on. You know, when it's rich, it's a problem. When other people do it, whatever.
Well, I think, and he touched on one thing. He said part of it's because he's black, and I think that's 100% true.
Oh, yeah.
And part of it's because people look down on him not just because he's black, and they do look down on him for being black, first and foremost. Let's make that very fucking clear. But secondly, it's because he didn't do it, quote unquote, the right way. He didn't go to law school. He was a guy who was hustling, selling jerseys at the back of a car. LeBron took a liking to him. He got his game on and became an agent. And what makes them mad is that he didn't do it the way they think they should. But that's the beauty of the NBA. In the NBA PA is that anyone can be an agent. You take the course and you pass the test, you can be an agent in the NBA. There are different rules, different sporting leagues, but that's the NBA one.
Yeah, I mean, he showed the hustle. I mean, that's got to be impressive.
And the thing is, the players they're putting too much influence. You saw the interview with Kobe and McGrady. They didn't know they could do that. They didn't realize the power they had. They wanted to. They would have loved to have done it. And anyone who's an old head saying this now, saying that LeBron or whoever is manipulating, that's sour fucking grapes.
Oh, 100%.
That's why I'm saying I wish I'd swallowed my pride and called Michael and said, "Hey man, I'll take a cut. Let's go win some more rings."
Yeah, they all would have done it. Half of them tried to do it. I mean, do we forget about Malone and the Lakers? I mean, come on.
Right? That makes me so happy he doesn't have a ring. Like, I know it's super petty of me, but like him not having a ring.
The pettiest.
As always, fuck Carl Malone. God, yeah, fuck Carl Malone. And like the biggest example of what they think is tampering is this stuff with Anthony Davis. I talked about it last week. The man's a grown-ass fucking man. He's looked around, see what New Orleans has done around him for the last 11 years, or 7 years, excuse me. Why wouldn't you want to leave?
There's just this baseline assumption that, like, AD doesn't have any sense or any, like, mind of his own to evaluate things, and that one person whispering in his ear is, like, changing everything. Like, the guy's a professional. He knows what he's doing. He talks to other players and sees what their experiences were with teams. Like, the injury stuff in Boston, you know, he's making up his own mind with informed decisions. And the way they talk about tampering is if, you know, this is isolated. You know, they pick and choose. Magic is their target now, even though he didn't really do too much. Whereas this is commonplace stuff that they just kind of let go anyways.
It's so wild, and it's getting wilder because you look at what happened in New Orleans later this week. So Rich Paul used leverage from the league to make the Pelicans play Anthony Davis because what it looked like was going to happen was they were going to kind of shelve him for the rest of the season, which you can't do when he's making the kind of money he is because guess what? If you didn't want to play, if you're so scared about your asset being injured, You should have fucking traded him.
Yeah. 100%.
You had the opportunity. You were never going to. And you know how you know they were never going to? Or maybe that Dale Dimps never had the power to. When Anthony Davis got injured in the last game before the All-Star break, took an elbow to the shoulder, and is being excoriated for leaving the arena. Hey, guys, if he left to go get an MRI, what's the fucking problem?
Yeah, what did you want him to do?
To wait for the MRI? Nah, dog, I'm out. Anyway, so I guess the owner was mad that this happened, so they finally fired Dale Dimps. Call it 10 years too late. Now, at this point, like, I get it. You fired Dale Dimps because he's the fall guy for the Anthony Davis move not happening. I get that. You use him leaving the arena as the catalyst for that. I understand that and provide you some cover. I get all that. What I don't get is what next? What's the plan now? Because you can't not play him, but also your worst fears have been realized.
I mean, they obviously don't have a plan.
That's why
trying not to play.
It seems like Dale Dimps didn't have the power to trade him to the Lakers, which if they were just trying to sow dissent in the Lakers, weird flex, but okay. And now you've got a coach who took this job to coach Anthony Davis. You've got a bunch of guys who I guess presumably like AD, but I mean, the team's been fractured. You talk about trade rumors for fractured team. This is the kind of rumor of the fractured team because now the player has said, he actually said this weekend, he'll go to any other team. He doesn't want to be in New Orleans anymore.
I mean, they aren't playing. I mean, they aren't doing that well. They're at the bottom of the standings. I mean, it's just all around messed up for everyone.
It's ugly and it's bad and I don't like it. And it's just, I wish they just fucking traded him. You could have avoided all this. Just trade him. Just trade him. Just trade him. All you had to do was trade him. Because guess what? The Lakers offer is not going to be as good as it was last week, excuse me. This summer, that deal's not on the table anymore. And this whole Danny Ainge is going to blow us off our feet. Have you met Danny Ainge? Danny Ainge is coming to the meetings with a ski mask and a pistol.
Yep.
He's in the room to rob you. I don't know what the plan was. And that's the crazy thing is that you get this kind of – and I hate when NBA guys do this, but I'm going to say it just for the sake of the conversation. When you have the asset that Anthony Davis is, you have plan A, B, and C. Plan A, first of all, should have been get him the fuck out of here immediately. Failing that, there should have been a follow-up.
100%. But they didn't think it through at all. They just wanted to keep him. They didn't try to trade him before the deadline. I mean, when does a disgruntled player ever convinced to stay in a city? Does that ever work, really? And then they want to shut him down, but yeah, this was just very short-sighted, messed up. Like, they need to start from scratch at this point.
This is how a child plans. This is how a child lies. It was like, did you take your last cookie? No. Well, then who took it? Let me, kid. Be ready for the next question. And they, at every step, haven't been, thus proving the original premise of, I want to be anywhere but here, because what they've shown him in the time that he's been there is concerted, repeated, and dedicated incompetence.
And, who's going to want to come there now after they've seen how New Orleans operates as a front office? Like, they just messed this up on every level.
Hey, not just who wants to come there, who wants to deal with you? Why would I trust you as a trade partner for watch what you just did to the Lakers?
Right. Yeah. No one wants egg on their face like that.
No one wants those problems. Why? If I don't have to deal with you, why would you? Why would I? And guess what? Once Anthony Davis is gone, no one has to.
Yeah.
Drew maybe. Drew's having a great year, but I think that's a lot of Anthony Davis.
Yeah. I hope Drew lands somewhere good.
Me too. Let's move on. We're going to skip past Boston's melting down. We're going to skip past Ben Simmons' first taking three. We're going to skip past the idea that maybe Paul George should be the MVP. Let's have the conversation at some point. He didn't have a great going into the All-Star break, so we're going to move past that. Mike Prather, you and I have been friends for years. We grew up watching basketball together, being basketball fans. Dirk and D-Wade buried the hatchet before their games last week. He's laughing. Okay, he's laughing because in the history of our friendship, so we went to separate colleges. He went to Pitt, I went to Columbia, and when I was doing work study in the political science department, we were texting about the 06 or 05. The finals where Dwayne Wade took 500,000 free throws.
We were not just texting; we bet on who would win.
I lost that bet with my head held fucking high. The fix was in. That was a scam of epic proportions, and then there came the Heatles in the Mav years. Not fun for me, not gonna lie.
No,
A lot of trash talk from from Wade talking about, oh, I thought he was sick and all this shit. And this has been real beef for years. These two have not liked each other for years. Did you see the quotes from the night when they finally buried the hatchet?
No.
Oh my, Mike. Like I thought that this real feud was just my appreciation for 7-foot German men who are putting earth to hit jump shots and your distaste for good basketball. But I'm going to tell you what Wade, who once claimed that the Mavs would have won the 06 finals if Nowitzki had been a better leader, and then making fun of him grabbing the flu in 2011. He said of the jersey swap after the game, one of my best jersey swaps of the year. To have that, he's a Hall of Famer, someone that I obviously grown and have so much respect for. So I'm thankful he didn't turn me down and say, no, I appreciate it. Nowitzki had a lot more to say. It's a long time coming, knowing that he's been doing that. I'll cherish the jersey, obviously, knowing the great competition we've had for a long, long time. He's a great, great player, one of the greatest guards we've had in our league. Like I said, there were some rough, rocky times in our relationship after 06. It went both ways. There was some stuff we said we both didn't like, but at the end of the day, we're both competitors. You don't love most of your competition, but we're in this together. We're all family, and I'm happy for him. He had a heck of a career. We're old now, older. When you're young, you compete. You're stubborn. But there are a few guys where I was just not that friendly. We played against the Spurs in the playoffs. I didn't love those guys either. It comes with competing at the highest level, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we're all in the same league. We're all part of one big family. We compete against each other and bring out the best of each other. That is a lot of cliches surrounded by, still fuck that dude. That's a lot of cliche salad. At the core is, fuck that dude.
Hey, look, this is the D-Wade Farewell Tour. He even has, shirts to that effect. You gotta.
Yeah, I love it, but just the fact that this big ass German can't just even play the game. He's like, nah, man, fuck that dude.
I kind of wish I'd seen more of this side of Dirk.
He was just quiet about it, but you got to remember, at his core, he's just a big German. He's a giant German who will shoot threes in your eye and then talk about you down the court in different languages to you.
And bring in those leftovers.
Yo. I'm not even. Yeah. Yes. So, Mike, All-Star Weekend's here. Before we get to the festivities of Saturday night, are you ready for 12 months of Jordan-flation?
No, I'm already not. Maybe because today is his birthday, so I've just been seeing a lot of Jordan stuff on the timeline.
Oh, so those who don't know, so Michael Jordan, it's his birthday, like you said. God bless America. The All-Star game this year is in Charlotte, which is where he owns the team, and next year's All-Star game is in Chicago. So for those of us who know who the best player of all time is, and it's not Michael Jordan, it's going to be a very long year.
I can't wait for the Kobe stands to try to subvert this year of Jordan. I mean, it's already
out there. Well, have you seen this? Where they'll have the people like Jordan fans, like, and LeBron fans, like, I understand where you're coming from. Here's where I stand. And I think those are healthy debates. I think the fact that LeBron's never been described as a scorer, but he's about to pass Jordan on the all-time scorers list is a big thing for me. And if you look at his assist and rebound numbers and efficiency numbers, it really kind of doesn't become a competition anymore. Anyway, the Kobe fans are like, but look at this sad photocopy of Jordan. Isn't he also one of the best? And the thing is, photocopy of Jordan is not an insult. Lesser Jordan, not an insult. He's not the best of all time. Me saying he's not in the conversation is not me insulting him. Top 5 shooting guard of all time, of course. Probably top 12 player of all time, yep. But we're talking about the top of the top. It's Jordan, LeBron, and let's have the Wilt conversation. But that's really it.
Yeah.
And for the next 12 months, it's going to be publicly all Jordan. Brace yourselves. The
Scotty
long
will
winter of dad
like
jeans is upon us.
times. This conversation is exhausting. We all know.
However, I will say this: if Jordan had Twitter, it'd have been the best thing in the world. He would have gotten arrested, but it'd been the best thing in the world.
No, he would have been like, he wouldn't have lasted. Jordan.
Oh, he would have totally lasted.
Jordan would be the way KD is with Twitter, maybe sans burner account, and like 10 times worse.
Oh, he'd be if he dropped like 17 on somebody, your DMs are getting lit up if you mention it.
Jordan would be like
no.
Game before games for motivation and find some bot that said something bad about him and be like, all right, word, all right, now I'm gonna go out and drop 40.
The last thing he needed was like you're right, a real thing to latch onto.
Yeah, I mean,
because I honestly think if you take basketball away, that man's just a serial killer. Like I think he's just something wrong with that man in his head. And
could he do Republicans buy sneakers too with Twitter? I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think he could handle the
and for those of us who think we're being too unfair for Michael Jordan, they asked Michael Jordan this week in the pre-lead up to All-Star festivities. They asked, Russell Westbrook's logged his 10th straight triple-double. James Harden's 30 streak of 30-point games at 30. Jordan asked which accomplishment he found more impressive. Jordan's reply was, which is harder from the player standpoint? 6 championships by all means.
Thanks for answering the question we did not ask.
This is what you're in for the next 12 months. Hope you're all happy. Let's talk about Saturday night. Skills competition. Trae Young beat Luka. We won the trade. I'm glad that's over, right? That's how it works, right? If your guy wins a non-important All-Star weekend festivity thing over the other guy, you won the trade.
Yes, the matter has been settled.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Joe Harris won the three-point competition.
I mean, I was impressed. He was the first person to go, and he had like 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he came to play.
That first F round where he hit 10 in a row 12 in a row was disgusting.
Yeah, I was worried. I was like, oh, it's gonna be like that.
He dropped 12 down throw. I was like, oh, word. You're just being mean to him, huh, Steph? Yeah. All right. Yeah, that seemed really impressive. But Joe Harris held on to bring some hardware to Brooklyn for the first time ever.
Yeah.
No, New Jersey. I guess New Jersey. It's not the same place. Yeah. So Brooklyn, congratulations on the hardware. And last but certainly not least, the dunk contest. Is the dunk contest back, Mike?
No, it was better than it has been, but I'm gonna be a naysayer. I don't think it's back yet.
That was not. It was nice though. All right. So you've known about this about me for a while, but the listeners may not. If you miss a dunk, it's over.
What, 3-time dunk champion Nate Robinson? Is that what I know?
Fuck Nate Robinson. If you miss a dunk twice, it's over. If you miss a dunk once or twice and then you make the third dunk, I will not count those 2 missed dunks against you.
Look,
give me the old heads, the real dunkers to judge this shit. Give me angry ass Bill. Give me just somebody who will let Jordan.
Are we coming full circle? Do you want the Russian judge, Michael Jordan?
Let Jordan judge it. Let Jordan judge it. No one will get above a 7.
No, he'll bring in his own cards that have like 5 on it.
No, you know what it'll be? Only 2s and 3s. Only 2s and 3s. But that should be pretty good. I actually would watch. That's what they should do next year. Have the dunk contest have the same kind of fun, same kind of horseshit where you get 75 tries at a dunk, but they have a picture-in-picture of Jordan's reaction to each attempt.
I mean, are we just doing crying Jordan meme the whole time?
No. It'd be the happiest you've ever seen Michael Jordan, laughing his ass off at these children, because Nate Robinson robbed Andre Iguodala in the greatest dunk contest of all time. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask you something stupid here. Pick tonight's All-Star game. Who wins? Team Giannis, Team LeBron. Team Giannis or Team I'm openly tampering with all these players?
Look, did you watch the draft? Because Giannis was just like so nice. Like, Giannis, you know this is a competition, right?
He has no idea. He has no idea.
Because LeBron was sitting here like with probably like 15 pages of notes, and he was like, all right, his team is better. His team's gonna win. He even got that trade to get Ben
They're about
Simmons.
to get the best,
Sure.
best passes they've ever received in their lives. This is basically LeBron like, you want those passes every night? Holla at your boy.
Yeah, like, is LeBron going to shoot, or is he going to have like?
Why would he shoot? I hope LeBron gets the MVP with 75 assists.
He's going to be like, how do you like the seams when you shoot? All right, I got you. Like, cool.
You told me yesterday that you like it here. I was actually watching your form. Try it here.
Right. Like his pre-game pep talk. Like, did you see the picture of him and AD in the locker room?
Oh, did I? I think I sent it to you.
You probably did.
Look, this is team tamper. You want tampering? Mic that locker room.
Yeah, like LeBron knew to get the most All-Star votes for this. Like, they might not make the playoffs this year, but next year.
He just built Voltron in that locker room.
He's like, of course they should let me draft they should have the All-Stars draft their team. Sure.
Well, I can pick my own team. It's a lot more entertaining this way, but man, you wanted tampering? I'm gonna show you tampering. It's LeBron James picking his own basketball team, and Giannis not being aware of how serious this actually is.
Right.
Giannis is great because he brings so much joy to the game, but like this is like you want a 33-year-old also player with him picking the other team. You want Chris Paul. You want someone who's out here to play chess with you, not someone who's like, "What are we doing? We're just picking teams. Cool. I like that guy. His name looks funny." Like, no.
Yeah.
Oh no, Giannis. The Ben Simmons trade was the coup de grace. I was like, that was chef kiss.
I'd be like, give me 3 players and you can have them.
3 players and a cash consideration.
Yeah. Slip me some money after we go off. All right.
The last thing I want to talk about today is Colin Kaepernick's settlement with the NFL. And I know people were saying lots of things because people are idiots. But Mike, when you heard this news that Colin Kaepernick was settling, Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reid and their legal team, make sure everyone who's getting paid gets named. We heard they were going to be settling with the NFL. What was your initial reaction?
Oh yeah, the NFL did that.
And that's the craziest thing is that it's basically just like, oh yeah, we totally colluded, and they have proof. So what do you think the check? What do you think the check is?
A lot of money for Kaepernick, but probably not a lot for the NFL.
I don't think the NFL got anything, and that's
no. I mean, like the NFL has money to waste. Like, I don't
think. As far as I think that we're talking north of $100 million.
I mean, they have to they're compensating him for his career, right? The career that
lost wages
lost by this, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that, of course,
lost wages, but then that's only part of the money because part of the money's got to be we're not going to talk about this anymore.
Oh yeah, they paid for that.
That's a large component too. Is and here is your hush component. Like, don't talk about it. Here's your gag order. Because what's happened now is the NFL has tacitly admitted to colluding, which means when the CBA negotiations come, I want everyone to get ready for either a strike or a lockout. Just mentally prepare yourselves. I'm recording this on the 17th of February. Mentally prepare yourselves to not have football in the very near future for a very long time, actually. Because what you've done is if there was any foundational trust between the NFLPA and the NFL, which I don't think there is, you've now eroded it to the point of the owners are going to want to alter the CBA in such a way that the collusion that they did would be legal. And the NFLPA's entire stance will be, we don't know what you did. And that's when the details are going to leak because we've all been around enough confidentiality agreements, even just tacitly in the media. These things always leak.
Yeah, it's not going to come from Cap because he's going to keep his money, but someone somewhere is going to talk.
It's going to come from his girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
She talks a lot. Like she's loud. She likes to talk, man. And I'm good because that's the thing is like with Cap, he's had these mouthpieces. He hasn't spoken really since this all
Publicly in a
started.
minute. Yeah.
He told us that he lifts and trains and watches every Sunday. So the non-Kaepernick protesters were always, hey, boycotters were saying, look, you guys didn't want to watch football, that's fine. Cap is your reason, that's cool too. He never asked you to do that.
Nope.
And from there, it's been his face in Nike ad or people like his friends, relationships, family talking for him. It's never been, here's what Colin thinks, because he knew the power of the silence in this collusion case.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And I know people saying, oh, he shouldn't take the money. Well, then what's the end game? Destroy the NFL? Because if that was the goal, then maybe you don't understand why Colin Kaepernick sued, because the suit was never about, honestly, anything more than him being denied employment.
But, like, why is it always it boils down to this, like, oh, this person shouldn't have taken the money. Like, why is this person profiting in this struggle? I mean, it takes a lot of work to be a professional football player. It takes a lot of work to stay in that kind of shape when you've been forced out of the league for the past few seasons. He wanted to play, and they took it away from him. Why shouldn't he get compensated for that? I mean, they literally held him out, slandered his name, said he was doing things he wasn't doing. Of course he deserves this.
It's so interesting because it's something that's been pointed out to me, and it's so wild because the people who ask the most questions are the ones who are actually against you. The people like, what are you doing with the money? How are you gonna spend the money? How much money is it? Like, what is it? The people asking those questions aren't on your side first and foremost.
And what does any of that matter?
And that's the second point. There's no rule to saying being an activist means you have to be broke.
Right, but there's this like
but there's this expectation of martyrdom that's ridiculous right. and irrational, in my opinion. He kneeled for a call for social justice and equality.
Yep.
He sued because that kneeling got him colluded against.
Yep.
And the NFL settled because he was fucking right and he had proof. When you had all those owners walking into those depositions, people saying, I wonder what they're saying. They were saying, we kept Colin Kaepernick out of this league. I talked about this at the time the lawsuit was filed. I think it's 5 owners have to be proven to have acted in such a way that proved collusion. They probably had more.
Oh, for sure.
They subpoenaed everyone's emails and internal documents. They got more than 5. That. Why did they settle now? Because the first hearing on this matter was due later this month.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it happened now.
Yep, they knew it was over.
It's been over. And what's interesting now is what's next, because this is a league where the players don't trust management, unlike the NBA. I'll use that example. In the NBA, I do think that while there is some bit of antagonism, by and large, the players and ownership and players in at least management of the NBA feel like they're operating in good faith. They never feel that way in the NFL.
Yeah, totally different relationship.
It's a strictly antagonistic one. It's how much can I screw that guy without him noticing?
Yeah.
And what happens next is going to be very interesting to see. And we're going to be covering it because that's what we do here. Of course, we've reached the end of the podcast, but I do want to talk about 2 quick unanimous facts that I forgot to put on last week's episode. The first one is, Mike, $1 million idea. 4 words. All dog petting zoo.
I love it. I'd be there all day, every day.
All dog petting zoo, make $1 million. And the last fact that is unanimously decided upon for this week is that Emma Stone is just Lindsay Lohan without cocaine.
Yeah, I can see that. That's
2 unanimous facts. So just like joining the annals of Stevie not being blind, those are now written down forever as unanimous facts. That was your show. This is your outro. See you guys next week. Thank you very much for the reminder.
No problem. You really
for error review.
Strike for real?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is gonna be really ugly. It's gonna be really ugly. Like especially when the details come out, because they're gonna come out.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of assumed like half the league would be like the public is, and like still, question Kaepernick and give the NFL the benefit of the doubt. But
but once you've paid him to not talk about what you did, where's the doubt?
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but
It's going to be interesting to watch people try to carry water for them because initial reports were all like, everyone's like, oh, the NFL's fucked. Like, that's what everyone said. So it's going to see how, like, Peter King's of the world. That's what I jokingly said. Throw up the Peter King symbol. He'll save
yeah,
us.
yes,
But we'll see. All right, man. How about this pop?
cool.
See ya.
Later.